Welcome back, friends. It's Yvonne Davis, your traveling warrior astrologer. And today I am going to be looking at the chart of Elon Musk with this upcoming new moon eclipse and also the retrogrades of Mercury and Venus. There's a lot going on in the sky, and I did mention that I wanted to talk more about it because it's so intense right now. And normally I would not be talking about someone like Elon Musk, except that the situation with him has gotten out of control. And I did talk about it in my Patreon group when I do my live Zoom meetings at least once a month. So in February, I did talk about Elon Musk and said that we were probably going to reach some kind of breaking point, or he was in his life and making choices. And so I want to show you that chart so you can see what I was talking about. Again, I already did this for my patrons in the meeting that I do at least once a month on Zoom live. So if you were a patron, you would know that. And so I hope that you will go and check it out. You can actually become a patron for free. And then if you decide that you want to join these live Zoom meetings at least once a month and ask any questions you want to ask, then come on and join for $5 a month and just test it out for a month. And if you want, you can go back to the free version. So I hope you will check it out. There's a link below. Now, let's go look at the chart and see what it has to say. So this chart is for the Aries eclipse on March 29th. And today, as I'm making this, it's the 18th. So about 10 days away until this new moon eclipse. We've already got Mercury and Venus retrograde, and they will both cross over Neptune and Saturn and the North Node in both directions, retrograde and then again direct. So there's a lot going on with people reevaluating things. And that's why I'm saying this is really interesting regarding Elon Musk, because he needs to do some serious reevaluation. So we see that this new moon eclipse is in his 12th house. The 12th house is retreat, solitude, losses, and self-undoing. Now, you can also learn a lot from the 12th house. It doesn't mean that you're going to ruin your life just because you have planets in the 12th house, but it does focus you in a way that should bring the material from the unconscious up into the conscious mind, and to help, if a person is capable of this, then it should help with this kind of awareness, self-awareness, awareness of self-undoing, understanding that all of life includes losses. And so what we're seeing with him is we're seeing some very significant losses, especially related to his company, Tesla. So here's what I want you to see with that new moon eclipse opposite Uranus in his 6th and 12th house axis. The 6th house is our outer work, and the 12th house is our inner work. So he's got this eclipse that is forcing him to reevaluate with the Mercury and Venus retrograde. They started at this 9-degree point. Now they're retrograding, going over Neptune, the North Node, and Saturn, ultimately 3 times. The first time direct, the second time retrograde, and the third time direct. Coming back to this 9 degrees where the new moon eclipse is. So this is a very deep reevaluation, rethinking, redoing, reconsidering. And I think that that is what Elon Musk is doing, because he's really bitten off more than he could chew. Even in an interview, I saw him ask the question, how can you handle leading this Doge department and at the same time running your businesses? And he had a really hard time answering the question, but what finally came out of his mouth is, it's really difficult. And I think that he's really reaching the brink in which he has to make a choice. Trying to do everything is not going to lead to ultimate success in the way that he probably like. So definitely we're seeing that with this new moon eclipse opposite Uranus, because Uranus is technology. And that's what he's known for. He's known for technology in his businesses. He's creating new technologies in his businesses. So that's his outer work. And then the inner work, of course, is looking deeply at the choices that he's making. Because another reason why I wanted to make this video wasn't just to point out how interesting that is, and also that I already talked about this on my Patreon. So I wanted other people, who come to my YouTube channel to know that I'm already doing this on Patreon, that I already made these predictions, that I already looked at these charts, and I saw he's going to have to make a decision. I think he's reaching a breaking point. And also this new moon eclipse and the point where Mercury and Venus went retrograde are squaring his sun. And the sun is like your mission in life. So this is hitting him in a very personal and deep way and forcing him to rethink where he's focusing his attention. One of the things that I want to point out is, even if he pulls away from what he's doing with the US government, that doesn't mean he's not going to still be a billionaire, that he's not going to be impoverished by this. And the reason why I say that is because of the fact that he has Saturn in the second house of income and Neptune in the eighth house, and these are money houses. So he will still be a very wealthy person. And as the planets move into the 12th house, they will trine and sextile Saturn and Neptune in his money houses. And also with Pluto up here in his 10th house, where we have, this more public position of power. So I'm not saying that he's going to be impoverished or that he won't still play a role in terms of world power. But what I am saying is that he has to definitely reevaluate where he's putting his attention, because already people are turning against him and they are deleting their Twitter X accounts. They are divesting themselves of their Tesla stock. People don't want to buy Teslas anymore. People are protesting in front of Tesla dealerships. This is causing Tesla to take a huge hit in its value. Apparently, it lost something like $800 billion in value, the stock did, and which is mind-boggling. It's extremely overvalued to begin with. So, it's still functioning, but it's still a huge hit. So basically what I wanted to say is, just like Elon Musk has to make decisions about where he's going to focus his attention, everyone else out there has to make decisions too. If you are going to stay on Twitter X, if you're even on it, Twitter X, you have to make decisions about whether or not you want to stay there. Same with if you have any Tesla stock, you have to decide if you're going to keep it or if you're going to divest yourself. And that may impact your financial situation because you may have to take a loss. That's not my decision to make. That's your decision to make. But I do think it's clear where Elon Musk stands, not just in terms of what he's doing to the US government, which is eliminating all constraints on big business, corporations, billionaires, extremely wealthy, the 1%, these oligarchs, these robber barons, basically by wiping out all constraints, all regulatory constraints, all taxes that they might have to pay, just eliminating that completely, wiping it off the table, then they don't have to contribute anything back to the benefit of the society that has made them so rich to begin with. They don't want to reciprocate in any way, shape, or form. They don't want to be limited in any way, shape, or form. Now, is that fair? Well, that's for you to decide. And it's also for you to decide if you want to support him in any way, shape, or form. I'll also add that his Siegheil salute that he made, that some people keep trying to say is a joke. Well, I recently found out that he actually gave financial support, major financial support, to the neo-Nazi party in Germany. So it's very clear where he stands. It's very clear what he values. So if if you want to have anything to do with that, that's up to you. It's not for me to say, it's up for you to make that decision. I know myself personally. I eliminated my Twitter X account long, long time ago when I saw how things were changing, how, the winds of change were coming through, and I didn't really want to be associated with that. I didn't even like the platform to begin with, so it was not really a difficult decision for me to make at that point. So I haven't had a Twitter X account in a long, long time. And I would not want to own Tesla stock at this point in the game. I certainly wouldn't purchase Tesla stock at this point in the game. And I didn't really have any plans to buy a Tesla, but certainly at this point, I would not be buying a Tesla. I wouldn't want to have anything to do with anything associated with him. So yeah, that's a decision that you need to make. But I am curious. I would love it if people would say in the comments, what do you think about this chart that I'm showing you with these planets, the new moon eclipse, Mercury retrograde, Venus retrograde, hitting that degree and stationing retrograde right opposite his Uranus in the 6th and 12th house axis of outer work and inner work, and the 12th house of self-undoing. He's going to have a lot of planets in that house. So he's going to, even if he maybe takes himself off the public stage, which I doubt he's going to do, but even if he does, he's still going to be in the background. He's still going to be behind the scenes trying to push his personal agenda, which we now know very clearly what that is, which is just so sad and disappointing. So anyway, you have to make your own decision about what you want to align yourself with, what you want to support, what you value, and whether or not he represents your values, and what you're going to do about that personally, because that's the only thing we have to fight with now at this point, and until the next election. So, I felt like it was really important to come on YouTube and talk about this, because I just think we've reached a line, and we all have to decide what we value and what we're going to support. So I'd love to hear your comments about this reading and about how you feel about Twitter X. Are you on the platform? And if so, are you going to stay on the platform? I'd love to hear that. Also, whether or not you have Tesla stock, and if you still have it, what do you plan to do with it? And if you do own a Tesla, or if you had thought about buying a Tesla, what are your thoughts now? I would love to hear all of that and get your opinion, so I can kind of, take the pulse of my viewership. And also, I would say that I would love to hear what direction you would like me to go in with this channel, because I think that as we're closing in on a lot of the return charts for the US, like the Uranus return, it's very clear that the United States is going to go through a kind of revolution, which I pointed to in 2 recent videos, one about class consciousness awakening in this country, and one about revolution in this country, which I still think is the direction that we're moving in. But I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. And I know someone did ask me to do an update on Johnny Depp, and I apologize that I haven't gotten to that. I've just been so busy. So I will try and get that done, because I feel really bad when people ask and then I don't get it done. So, and also, again, if you want to come to Patreon, it's only $5 a month, and I answer every single question that my patrons ask, because that's the time that I give them every month for supporting me on Patreon, and I really appreciate that. So again, just let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below, and what direction you think I should take this channel in. But I will say that part of the reason why I didn't want to talk about politics anymore, because I think it's gotten so toxic in this country. And what I mean by that is, in the summers, I live in a small rural town, and my neighbors are Republican, and they're my neighbors. They're not my enemies. They're my neighbors, and they're wonderful people. I mean, they would help you to the ends of the earth. And so I could see very clearly that this is not a left-right issue. This is not a red-blue issue. This is not a Democrats versus Republicans issue. This is an American issue. I'm talking about the American people. I'm not talking about the elites, the billionaires, the oligarchs, the robber barons who are trying to eliminate all constraints on their power. And there may be some people who haven't seen that yet, okay? And they shouldn't be our enemy just because they haven't seen it yet for what it truly is. But I think the way they're talking about trying to dismantle Social Security and Medicare, which so many people in this country rely on, if they go that far, everybody's going to wake up and smell the coffee, so to speak. So I don't want to continue to get on here and make them my enemy, because they are not my enemy. They're not my neighbors. They're my fellow Americans. And we need to band together against the people who are really, really trying to deconstruct what this country is about and make it a place where people can get as rich and powerful as possible, and they can accumulate it all like in a monopoly game and never give anything back. They don't want to pay taxes. They probably don't pay them already, but they don't want to pay taxes. They don't want to reciprocate for all the benefits they've gotten from this country. And that's not right, and it's not fair. And so really, that's the revolution. That's the awakening of class consciousness. It's not left or right, red or blue, Democrat or Republican. And in fact, they have engineered that divisiveness. The elites, the billionaires, the oligarchs, the robber barons, those people who want to take it all and not give anything back, they have engineered this divisiveness amongst the American people. And we need to see through that and recognize that the American people are not our enemies. Everybody's going to wake up pretty soon and smell the coffee and get that class consciousness. And that's where we need to focus our attention. So that's what I'm about. And I'm willing to talk about this stuff and the revolution that's coming in this country. I just want to know, what is it that my viewers think, and what are your opinions, and what would you like to see on this channel? Well, thanks for sticking with me. Of all these years that I've been doing this, over 7 years now, I've been running this astrology channel, and we've had some ups and downs, and I still feel confused sometimes about what direction to move in. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you're new to this channel, please subscribe if you're not yet subscribed. And if you did like this video, please click like. Please do leave a comment and share with other people who might find this interesting. And I will see you again in the next video. Bye-bye.